Hi everyone, this is Kona and welcome to week 14. So what do we got going on for week 14? So by starting with, let's take a look at our resources. So the big thing is you're going to be turning in Project 3. So Project 3 is due this week. We're going to take a look at Project 4 and what you need to be thinking about for Project 4. And then you do have a quiz. Now, the quiz this week should be okay because this quiz is pretty much the exact same quiz that you did, I think 2 weeks ago. It was just within the last few weeks, you basically already did this quiz, which is why the only thing here, the quiz resources, are basically just that review. So hopefully this shouldn't be a big deal, shouldn't be too bad, and they don't really say anything here for the quiz, but it's just kind of a review of what you did before. So looking further, discussion. So discussion for this week, one of them is the discussion, share your findings for Project 3. So this is where you actually are going to share, so provide a 1 to 2 paragraph summary of what you found for Project 3. So just your stores, the type of items, you don't have to list every single one. Your original claim, what test did you use? What test did you use? What were the results? And what, if anything, are the real world implications of your results? So will these results change what you would do or what you recommend? Were you surprised? So that's what you need for your discussion. Okay, going back, you do have the final project that's due for, oh, sorry, wrong one. So Project 3, I know this has been a pretty quick project, but hopefully that means it'll be pretty quick to write up. You already have that introduction and methodology. You just did the analysis last week, so all you have to do is add that conclusion, reference appendix, and you're pretty good to go. This paper is only worth 75 points just because there wasn't as much to it as some of the previous assignments. But it is still important, so take it seriously. Make sure to make your corrections and let me know if you have questions on that. So moving ahead, Project 4. This is our last project. It's worth 15% of your overall course grade. So if you think about that, 15%. Well, if you take 15% off, or depending, like you could only get an 85%. That's the highest you could get in the class without this. So this is really, especially then if you're not even getting a 100%, I mean, so just think this is 15% of your actual course grade, 15 percentage points of your actual course grade. So what is Project 4? Project 4 is called the School Success or School Project, and you'll be using data that you find online to come up with the best model for predicting what is responsible for school success. So what you're doing, and actually I hadn't opened this up before, but I'll go ahead and open this one up just to kind of show you really quick. You've got the Find Your School. So I'm an A&O district, so let's do, and I've got a daughter in elementary school. And basically what you're getting is this snapshot of the school. So you can click on academic progress and get a lot of really great information here. School environment, average class size, total school days, which honestly, every school basically has the exact same number of class sizes. You can get student information, so like percent of students with disabilities, homeless, student attendance, chronically truant students, low-income students. You can look at racial diversity, information about the teachers. So there's tons and tons of information here. You can also just download the ISBE report card, which will also give you a lot of information. But I will say that just kind of clicking on a lot of these, like going to like the ISAT. And okay, so that's not there. But you can just kind of get an idea of some of the different information that you can get. And based on this, what you're going to do is you're going to, first of all, be picking the type of school. So are you going to do grade schools, middle schools, or high schools? You don't get to pick all of them. You just pick one of the three. And then you need to decide whether it's going to be small, medium, or large. So is it going to be small grade schools, large grade schools, big grade schools? And here's a link to a spreadsheet that has that type of information, so maybe you can help decide. So let's say I am going to use Argenta. Like, okay, I definitely know I want to use Argenta because that's the school my daughter goes to. So what you would do, once this is done working, sorry, it's working really hard, mostly because it's just a big list, but okay. So then you could control find and Argenta. Okay. And there we go. So I can see Argenta Elementary School, or Oriana, Macon, and it's considered a middle or medium-sized elementary school that's pre-KK through 5. You could also look at if you're looking for certain percentage white, black, Hispanic enrollment numbers. But basically I can see, all right, if I want to use Argenta Elementary School, then I would be picking elementary schools that are medium size. So then I would just go through and try to find other elementary schools. So an elementary school that's medium. Okay, I could use this one. And you want to go through and do that. You're going to need to find 35 schools. So I would need to find 35 middle or elementary schools that are medium size. Then what you have to do is you have to pick a response variable. So for the response variable, for this one, what you're going to end up doing, this is something that you think is a good measure of how a school does. So back here, if you think a good measure of how the school does, which one was it? This one? So the ISAT overall. So if you want to say, oh, I think the ISAT, and this is actually, that's not a good one. Let's look at academic progress. Ah, here we go, Parcc Tests. So what if you think that the Parcc Test is a good measure? So this is where you would try to figure out and see, is there an actual score for the Parcc Test that you could use? So it looks like for this one, for the school, for 2017, let's see, 27% of students met or exceeded what they needed to for Parcc. So maybe I'm going to use meet or exceed as my variable that I'm going to be thinking. I think that is a sign of success. And granted, I don't know if I necessarily believe that, but I'm going to say that a sign of success for this school is that they have a high Parcc score. So that would be, if we go back here, that would be my response variable, is that high Parcc score. Then you need to choose at least 7 items that you think contribute to that Parcc score. So in this case, I would say, well, I think, let's go back to academic progress. Let's see. Let's put school environment. I'm going to say, I think average class size might have to do with it. I think the percentage of low-income students, students with disabilities, student mobility, and teacher attendance. And I'm just grabbing things here. Or maybe education, the education of teachers. So as you can see, I'm just kind of picking variables that I think are related to that Parcc score. Eventually, and that's not for this week, but eventually then what you would do is actually collect all of that data. So you would actually have a spreadsheet and have, you know, the 30%, an 85% retention, or you would have all of those different percentages, and you would enter those into a spreadsheet in Minitab, and then we would actually analyze it. Here are a lot of potential problems to avoid. I'm not going to go into all of these, but just so you're aware of them, make sure to review them. So there's all of Project 4. So what are you going to actually be doing for Project 4 this week? Well, to start with, we're going to have a discussion. This is the main discussion for this week. The initial post, make sure you read Project 4 information, look at the Illinois report card, and what type of schools do you think you'd like to use for this project? And so that means you have to pick, you know, small high schools, large high schools, you know, small elementary schools, whatever. What response variable do you think you'd want to pick? For me, I did elementary schools, so then I'm picking Parcc, but you could pick something different, and then pick at least 7 predictor variables. And so then those were all of the other variables that I thought were related to Parcc scores. So you need to do that for your initial post and then get feedback. And what that's going to help you do is that then for the project for planning. So before starting this assignment, make sure to review project for information, watch the video down here, and then basically here's all the information that you would want to have included for your project plan. So there's no real data analysis yet. There's no even collecting data, because do not collect the data until I give you the green light. So I should probably add that on here. So don't collect data until I give you the green light. This is just the plan. This is just me looking at it and saying, yep, you're good to go, collect this data. I think that's it. So share your findings and finish project 3. Then come up with what you think you want to study for project 4 and write out the plan, and then do this quiz. But remember, this quiz is just a repeat of a previous quiz. And it might be a repeat of this one. Let me double check. Oh. No, not a repeat of that one. Absolutely not a repeat of that one. Let's see, maybe it's this one. That's what it's a repeat of. Yep, it's this one. Okay, so Chapter 3, Quiz 4 is basically the same type of quiz that you have for this week. So that one is very similar to this one. But otherwise, I think you're good to go. Let me know if you have any questions.